it's like you can, I don't know. I don't, like that, like there's the expression like you can take the girl out of blah blah blah, but you can't
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
blah blah. But it's like I am a Kentuckian. Now I'm
Hmm.
also a New Yorker, but I mean I've lived here for like, and I've lived here for maybe 8 years. Before that, like I lived in DC for two, and but I am a Kentuckian, and it doesn't matter how long I don't live there. Like that's
Yeah.
whoever you are when you're little is who you are.
And part of that is connected to the people you come from, because
Yeah,
you're from where they're from too, you
right.
know, because that's how we learn who we are, as we tell stories. And you know, um I grew up hearing stories about how, my grandpa and his brothers and them, grew up, and so like they're sort of that working class, um hillbilly legacy
Yeah,
is part of who I am.
yeah,
And I may not live in Appalachia now. I mean, I don't even live in Indiana now, but it doesn't matter, because those places and those people, the where I'm from and the who I'm from, are still part of who I am. And no matter how hard I try to divest myself of it, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
You can hear it in the way I talk. You can hear it, it doesn't go away. And so, like, to hear you talk, I would never have guessed that you lived in New York for 8 years and lived in DC
Well, it's
before that,
it's funny. It's there's part of me like especially that got like really bitter right after the pandemic because there were a lot of people who were born and bred in the city who left.
Yeah.
And those of us who could not leave because, like I wasn't going to drive to Kentucky and be their patient zero. They
Hmm.
didn't have it down there yet. I wasn't going to go down there. And,
Hmm.
and you had a lot of people that economically they did not own a second house upstate,
Right.
or right. And so whenever all those people came back, like at first, like, because people would hear my accent and they would be like, oh, how long are you visiting? And I would be like,
Um,
the rest of my life. Like I even had somebody once tell me to go back where I came from, and I was like 79th Street. Like what do but after the pandemic, I got really, really, really bitter about it because I was like, I'm more of a New Yorker than y'all because my ass stayed.
mm,
Like y'all couldn't run at the first sign of anything. It's like
mhm.
I was here for the helicopters and and like the fireworks and everything. I got really, really bitter about it. But I'm a Kentuckian. Like that's who. Like you would never guess that I lived in New York. Like
No. As soon as you started talking, it just felt like home.